My name is Chloe and I'm 28 years old. For 7 consecutive Christmases, my family maintained their special tradition consistently forgetting to invite me, while my brother's picture-perfect family celebrated with our parents. In their immaculate suburban home, my phone remained hauntingly silent. This particular year, when my mother texted yet another photograph of them all coordinated in matching pajamas, conspicuously without me, something within me finally shattered. I didn't surrender to tears. Instead, I called my real estate agent with determined clarity, find me a mountain property somewhere. Authentically beautiful and genuinely remote. 3 transformative months later, I stood on the weathered porch of my new Colorado mountain retreat, watching snow gently blanket peaks that now belonged exclusively to me. Little did my family suspect, their painful tradition of exclusion was poised to become my powerful revolution of independence. I work as an architect, perpetually the different one in the conventional Carter family, while my older brother Daniel obediently followed the expected trajectory: early marriage, 2 children, suburban existence. I deliberately chose soaring skyscrapers over predictable soccer practice schedules. My parents never genuinely understood my passionate dedication to designing buildings, when I could have been designing the perfect traditional life they tirelessly envisioned for me. The Carter family Christmas celebrations were legendary throughout our Chicago suburban community. My mother, Eleanor, approached holiday preparation with military-grade precision. Every heirloom decoration occupied its designated position, every gourmet meal was perfectly timed. Yet for 7 consecutive years, I remained the deliberately missing element in her meticulously curated family portrait. The exclusion commenced subtly during my initial college years. We naturally assumed you'd be overwhelmed with final examinations. My mother would explain whenever I questioned why I hadn't been informed about Christmas arrangements. Gradually, the justifications evolved into more direct statements. It's simply more practical with only Daniel's family since they reside closer to us. This December, the Christmas morning text message arrived precisely at 9 a.m. A flawlessly staged photograph depicted my beaming parents, Daniel, his wife Jessica, and their 2 children, all harmonized in matching red plaid pajamas before the identical Christmas tree I'd helped decorate throughout my entire childhood. The caption read with sterile simplicity, "Carter Family Christmas. No, we wish you were here. No, we miss you deeply." Just another digital confirmation that I'd been permanently edited out of the family narrative. That afternoon, rather than succumbing to my customary Christmas despair, I opened a real estate application. When the charming frame cabin nestled within Colorado's majestic Rocky Mountains materialized on my screen, something fundamental shifted within my soul. The property was gloriously remote, breathtakingly beautiful, and completely antithetical to the suburban colonial I'd inherited as childhood environment. My respected mentor, Mr. Harrison, raised one skeptical eyebrow when I presented him the listing during our weekly lunch meeting. "This represents quite the dramatic departure from your typical downtown high-rises, doesn't it?" "Chloe, I require space," I confessed with newfound conviction. In every conceivable interpretation of that word, he studied the property photographs intently. Then my determined expression, "Sometimes the family we consciously choose to build signifies more than the family we accidentally inherit," he remarked quietly, his 65 years lending profound wisdom to his observation. The property closing occurred in mid-November. As I signed the final purchase documents, my phone vibrated with my mother's annual "What are your Christmas plans?" text, the polite precursor to not extending a genuine invitation. I typed my response with authentic smile, "I've made my own meaningful arrangements this year. Thank you." The mountain house rapidly transformed into both my personal sanctuary and my quiet rebellion. I dedicated every available weekend to escaping the city's relentless pace, gradually acclimating to the unique rhythms of mountain existence. I formed genuine friendships with local artisans whose craftsmanship told stories of generations, volunteered regularly at the community center where laughter echoed through wooden halls, and methodically constructed a new kind of family from the eclectic collection of individuals who called the Rockies their permanent home. Mr. Harrison honored me by becoming my first official guest during Thanksgiving weekend. "You've genuinely created something extraordinary here, Chloe," he observed thoughtfully, watching the spectacular sunset paint the mountain peaks in breathtaking shades of gold and crimson. "This transcends being merely a house, it represents a profound declaration of independence and self-discovery." As the Christmas season approached, I experienced authentic excitement rather than familiar dread. For the first time in years, I decorated exclusively with locally crafted items that carried the soul of the mountains, sourced a sustainable tree from a nearby family-owned farm, and planned a simple yet deeply meaningful solitary holiday that reflected my true self. Then, precisely 5 days before Christmas, the severe weather alerts commenced their relentless warnings. News outlets dramatically termed it the storm of the century, predicting unprecedented snowfall up to 4 feet and widespread power outages across multiple states that would test emergency preparedness systems. My telephone began its insistent ringing that evening. First, Daniel called, his voice strained with mounting anxiety. "Chloe, all major airports are shutting down completely. We're effectively stranded in Chicago with no alternatives. Mom and Dad's flight got canceled outright with no rescheduling possible." Then my mother called, her voice tight with escalating panic. "The roads have become completely impassable according to emergency broadcasts. We cannot possibly reach Daniel's residence under these conditions. The powers failed completely at our house. The backup generator malfunctioned catastrophically." I listened with calibrated calmness, watching the fire crackle comfortingly in my substantial stone fireplace. The mountain house, specifically engineered to withstand brutal winter conditions, remained warm, secure, and steadfast around me, its robust construction validating my decision. "Where are you currently located?" my mother inquired finally, her concern evident. "Are you at least safe in your downtown apartment?" "I'm securely situated at my mountain house," I replied evenly, my voice steady. "We maintain a robust backup generator system, ample seasoned firewood, and sufficient supplies to sustain us comfortably for weeks if necessary." Silence permeated the connection, heavy with unspoken realizations. Then, her voice barely audible, "Mountain house?" The calls multiplied in frequency as conditions progressively deteriorated toward critical levels. My father, attempting to sound nonchalant despite the emergency. "That mountain property of yours, any possibility it remains accessible under these circumstances?" "Daniel." Abandoning all pretense of decorum, "Jessica is panicking about the children enduring potential hypothermia. Is there any conceivable way you could possibly?" I offered them the identical response I'd received for 7 consecutive years, my voice firm yet compassionate. "I'm genuinely sorry. That won't be feasible this year, however." As the historic storm raged violently outside my double-paned windows, I formulated a radically different plan that reflected my transformed perspective. I telephoned my mountain neighbors, the retired couple residing peacefully down the road, the young family operating the general store with heartfelt dedication, the inspired artists inhabiting the creatively converted barn. "Does anyone require a warm sanctuary to weather this unprecedented storm?" I inquired of each, my voice filled with genuine concern. "I possess abundant space and resources to share." By Christmas Eve, my mountain house overflowed with genuine laughter and the comforting aroma of mulled wine that promised warmth and companionship. 72-year-old Mrs. Gable from down the road generously taught us her grandmother's traditional cookie recipe, her hands moving with the wisdom of generations. Tom, the general store proprietor whose family had served this community for decades, played Christmas carols skillfully on his guitar while his children danced joyfully around the tree. We decorated together. We comprised 12 individuals who'd consciously chosen to unite as a community, generously sharing our collective resources without hesitation or calculation. Then came the urgent, forceful pounding at my solid oak door that cut through our festive atmosphere. Through the frost-encrusted glass, I discerned shadowy figures huddled against the blizzard's relentless fury. When I opened the door, I discovered my entire family, parents, brother, his wife and children standing shivering on my porch, their complexions dangerously blue from extreme cold exposure, their expressions a mixture of desperation and disbelief. We secured a local guide who knew the mountain trails," my father stammered, his teeth chattering uncontrollably despite his efforts to appear composed. "Compensated him nearly our entire remaining funds to transport us up the mountain." Under these impossible conditions, my mother pushed past me into the life-saving warmth, her usual composure completely shattered. "Thank heaven you're unharmed. We've been traveling incessantly for 18 exhausting hours through nightmare conditions." They stood dripping melted snow onto my hardwood floors, staring in stunned disbelief at the communal scene they'd interrupted so abruptly. My chosen family, gathered causally around the roaring fireplace that promised survival and community, descended into surprised silence at this dramatic intrusion. Daniel recovered his composure first, his paternal instincts overriding his pride. "Chloe, we desperately require immediate assistance. The children risk serious frostbite according to emergency protocols." My 7-year-old niece, Lily, gazed up at me with wide, marveling eyes that saw beyond the immediate crisis. "Aunt Chloe, your house feels truly magical, like Santa's workshop in my storybooks." In that transformative moment, I recognized the identical look of pure wonder I'd experienced during my initial encounter with this special place, the same magic that had gradually healed my own wounded heart and restored my belief in belonging. Everyone may remain here for safety, I announced quietly yet firmly, establishing boundaries while offering compassion. However, we adhere to specific community rules here that ensure everyone's well-being. I directed them to the bunk room I'd thoughtfully prepared for emergency scenarios, showing them the organized space. The generator supplies only essential systems to conserve fuel. We conscientiously conserve hot water for basic needs. Every individual contributes meaningfully to our collective survival and comfort. My mother opened her mouth, prepared to protest out of habit, then observed the resolute faces of my mountain family and reconsidered, understanding that different rules govern this different world. The night that followed embodied the Christmas I'd perpetually yearned for. Throughout my lonely years, we shared personal stories beside the fireside that crackled with warmth and acceptance, sang Christmas carols enthusiastically if imperfectly, and shared our provisions generously without maintaining score or expectation. At one poignant moment, I found my mother observing me assist Mrs. Gable with post-dinner cleanup, her expression unreadable. "You've constructed an authentic community here," she noted, her voice imbued with unexpected emotion that hinted at dawning understanding. "I constructed precisely what I needed to survive and thrive," I responded simply, letting the truth stand without embellishment. Later, as we collectively gathered around the Christmas tree enjoying the final cups of rich hot cocoa, my father cleared his throat awkwardly, struggling to find adequate words. "Chloe, this extraordinary place, Daniel completed his thought with uncharacteristic humility. "You've manifested exactly what we've been missing throughout these years without realizing it." While the historic storm continued its external rage, something warmer than the fire itself initiated an internal thaw among us, beginning the slow process of reconciliation and understanding. The colossal storm finally broke on Christmas morning, revealing a world transformed into pristine, sparkling white that promised new beginnings. My family emerged from the mountain house as fundamentally changed human beings, their perspectives altered by necessity and witnessed community. My mother assisted Mrs. Gable, preparing breakfast without once complaining about the primitive kitchen conditions she would have criticized under different circumstances. My father and brother joined Tom to assess storm damage at his general store, learning firsthand about mountain resilience. The children constructed an impressive snowman alongside local youngsters, their laughter echoing the new connections being forged. As my family prepared to depart when road conditions permitted safe passage, my mother drew me aside privately, her usual confidence replaced by vulnerable sincerity. "We were profoundly mistaken about what truly matters," she admitted, the words clearly difficult to voice yet undeniably sincere, regarding numerous significant matters that we prioritized incorrectly. My father nodded in solemn agreement, appearing both older and wiser from their ordeal. "We erroneously believed family meant biological relations, gathering predictably in identical locations annually according to tradition. You've demonstrated through your actions that it's something you actively build with intention, not something you passively inherit by accident." The mountain house evolved into the new Carter family tradition, not for every Christmas celebration. That would feel excessive and unsustainable initially, but for extended weekends throughout the year that allowed for genuine connection. My parents eventually purchased a modest cabin nearby, genuinely learning to appreciate the serene beauty of mountain living that valued community over perfection. Mer Harrison smiled knowingly when I subsequently shared these developments. During our next mentoring session, "You constructed far more than a physical house. Chloe, you built a lasting bridge between your past and future, between expectation and authenticity." The profound irony about creating your personal holiday paradise? It becomes infinitely more meaningful when you consciously choose to share it with others. But the greater irony? You retain the absolute authority to determine whom you share it with, and precisely under what conditions honor your boundaries and values. Today, the Mountain House hosts a rotating community of chosen family, cherished old friends who appreciate authenticity, wonderful new neighbors who embody mountain values, and occasionally, when circumstances align harmoniously, the individuals connected to me by blood who are learning new ways of relating. The painful exclusion that once wounded me deeply transformed into the liberating freedom that ultimately preserved my spirit and identity. My brother and his family now visit regularly, their suburban stiffness softening with each mountain exposure. And my niece Lily considers the mountains her beloved second home. Aunt Chloe's magic house, she continues affectionately calling it, recognizing the special quality even at her young age. I've learned through this journey that sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't permanently excluding people from your life, but creating something so genuinely beautiful and meaningful that they cannot help but recognize what they've been missing through their own choices. And sometimes, families that repeatedly overlook you simply require compassionate reminders of what they're carelessly neglecting in their pursuit of perfection. The Mountain House stands today, as it always will, an enduring testament to the formidable power of building personal happiness, chosen family, and meaningful traditions that reflect your authentic self. Every Christmas morning, when dawn's light perfectly illuminates the mountain peaks in glorious revelation, I remember this essential truth: the best family isn't necessarily inherited through biology, but courageously built through shared values, mutual respect, and unconditional acceptance.